I'm so glad you took this out. It makes so much more sense to hold it. Looks too professional to stand up here without it. Well, I'll tell you what, I sell a lot of different events and do a lot of different things, but I think this evening it's only fitting that if you look to your left and you look to your right and see the people that's around you, we've got it all right here. We are blessed people. I haven't got to hug Glenn's neck in 6-7 years, and he's seen my wife and called her by name. And I see Clay and see Jim Sanamaso was president when I had the opportunity to win. And I mean, just the camaraderie that we're able to share and the family that we're able to become is phenomenal. But when I got called and was told that Ralph was nominated for this and that Ralph had won this and that I was gonna need to come and say a few words, I said, well, I won't be able to make it because I'm supposed to take my boat on a bachelor party. That sounds like a heck of a lot more fun than talking about one of my best friends. And I got to thinking about that on the drive out here this morning. I don't think I've ever looked at Ralph and said, you're one of my best damn friends. I cannot believe, you know, a young guy that wins the world and Jim Ola gives him an opportunity to come before Superior Livestock and to leave that day with a job and then to get a call from an even greater man in Kenny Wilcox to congratulate you. That's a good man. And then for a man to be able to take me by the hand and lead me to where I'm in today and to become what I am today is because of Ralph. And I think all of us can look around and think about the auctioneers and think about what Ralph is. Like Dustin mentioned, he's a legend. And I think about what Spanky Astor said one time when he was inducting somebody in the Hall of Fame. In the bright year of February 2nd, 1887, they gathered around a wooden box. And it was locked. They were all there, had their big top hats on, and they're waiting to see what comes out of this wooden box in February 2nd, 1887. Anybody know what February the 2nd is? Groundhog Day. And they're hollering, Phil, 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 and they're cheering. They're waiting for this to come out. And I was looking at that and I was going, that's Ralph, Ralph, Ralph. Yeah. Well, Ralph come out of the box right after Ed did, right after Ed gave him a great chance, and he never looked back at his shadow. And he changed the way we, as auctioneers, sell. Anybody got a VHS tape? Auctioneering My Way? Anybody got a bobblehead doll from Mr. Ralph? Right? I mean, he is literally the, he's the George Strait of what we are. He put him at the top of the charts at what we do as auctioneers. Now, not everybody wants to say, $1 down here, but most of us try it. And everybody wants to say quarter rump, and I still can't do it. And there ain't anybody that gets me more razzed about it than Ralph. But for him to be able to take what he did in 1974 when he won the world and be able to take that chant, be able to take that bid call and be able to put it into something that each and every one of us want to use. I can still remember after I won the world and getting a call from Mark Winter and said, would you be interested? Where are you from in Kansas? Who are you? Where exactly are you at? I have an airplane. But I can still remember 2 years ago at the end of King of the Ring, when Ralph was there, I can remember Mark saying, he is outstanding. He is unbelievable. And there's nothing worse. You can ask this year's champion. There's nothing worse when you get down and Ralph gets up behind you. July 31st, 1944. This Sunday, he's going to be the spry age of 81, 77, 73, 78, 64. I'll let you do the math. He's going to be 78 years old, and he will sell your ass under the table. I mean, and you know what? Yes. I reached out to several people that has had Ralph work for them, and reached out to several superior reps, reached out to several different people, and they said, you know what's amazing about Ralph is he knows the market, he knows what the buyers are going to give, and there ain't anybody who works any harder for the sellers than he does. And that's a true auctioneer. That's somebody you know when you put him up behind the mic's going to get it all. And from his big call that we all love and admire, but when you see him jump off next week in Winnemucca, Nevada, and all those consigners want to come to Ralph, they don't come to Charlie, they don't come to Trent, they don't come to Eric, they don't come to God. They all want to go to Ralph. Kenny's back there going, yep, I seen it. Kenny's like, I beat all their butts on the golf course and they still want to go to Ralph. They like, I mean, and that's because they know that he takes care of the product they're going to sell. He knows cattle, he knows horses, he knows family, he knows God. It's a privilege for me to be able to be here, to be able to help induct you into this well-deserved honor. You're a legend. You've completely changed from 1974 even till now, the way all of us auctioneers feel and the way we try to sound like you. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Charlie. I don't know how I'm supposed to follow that introduction, but I appreciate all the great kind words that you said and all that have been said this evening. It gives me a great honor, as Jimmy said, to have the opportunity just to be a part of this group or of this class of people that are in our industry. And to be inducted in with the ones we've seen, I've had the opportunity in my life and in my career that spans some, actually, I'll be 78 Sunday this week. And, but to have the opportunity, since I was 12 years old, when I first kind of found out that I could auctioneer. No one in my family had ever been an auctioneer before. So I don't know where it come from. Yes, I do. It was a God gift. There was no question about it. So all the thank yous and honors go to him. Because if he had not bestowed that talent upon me, then I wouldn't be up here tonight. And I wouldn't have had the opportunity to work with Greg Griffith, Dustin Foch, Charlie, and some of the rest of the auctioneers that are sitting out here tonight. Pat Goggins, I had the opportunity to work with that man. I had the opportunity to work with a lot of great auctioneers, Ken Trout. I've had the opportunity in my career of the opportunity, and it, you know, when you talk about what you have learned or what maybe I've tried to teach you or in being able to instruct or work with any of you. You know, I had these mentors too. I had these people that helped me. It all began back in 1964 in Mexico, Missouri, when a gentleman who was the first world's champion auctioneer, Eddie Buckner, hired me to call me up and asked me to come up to the market and talk to him. Well, I did, and of course I was scared to death. But went up to see him. I was pretty green. I'd gone to auctioneer school in 1962. I'd hauled hay all summer, Brian. Saved my money for the tuition and a Greyhound bus ride to Mason City, Iowa, to the Rice School of Auctioneering, which has become the worldwide college of auctioneering, and that's where I went to auctioneer school. But in '64, when Eddie called me and I went up to Mexico, Missouri, and got the opportunity to meet him, the first world's champion, livestock auctioneer champion. And along with the other partners there at Central Missouri. But, you know, it wasn't that easy. And I know that all you auctioneers, a lot of you sitting out there, realize it. My first 3 years, I didn't realize this at the time, of course, of what kind of instruction that I was getting. But the first 3 years that I worked in Central Missouri, I worked the ring. We sold 5 days a week there in Central Missouri. It was way above its time. I don't know whether any of you had ever been there, ever seen it, or know of it. It was the first ring scale back in 1962. Think about that. The auditorium held over 500 people. And it was all steel and concrete, 7 acres on the roof. I mean, it was totally way before its time, actually. But we sold 5 days a week, so I worked around for Eddie. Open and shut the gates. We sold butcher hogs 3 days a week, so feeder cattle, stocker cattle on Tuesday. Friday was fat cattle day, along with feeder pigs. So I got, plenty of time to work that rank. And there's one thing about it. Eddie, when he would be up there selling, he always didn't use a gavel, he used a hose, rubber hose, about that long. And Eddie'd be up there selling, he'd stop and make a speech about whatever he had. But Eddie always had a problem remembering where he was when he got ready to take back off. So the first thing he'd do was he'd look at you down and he'd, "Ralph, what did I have?" Well, it wasn't very long. I figured out that the best way for me to know was to auctioneer with him. So I would just chant right along with him, under my breath, but in my mind. And that's, for 3 years of being drilled and selling every one of them that he did, I got a lot of good practice. Then after 3 years, we started selling butcher hogs 5 days a week. They built another arena in the back of, and so for the balance of 9 years that I was there, I wound up selling butcher hogs 5 days a week. Until finally I got to sell cattle towards the end. And then I moved on, but selling hogs 5 days a week. We sold about 2,500 to 3,000 butcher hogs a day. Every day, 5 days a week. Nickel, dime at a time. Once in a while they bid you a quarter, but not very often. But anyway, I got a lot of my time and a lot of practice. And then, of course, after that, I moved on, went to Alabama for about a year, which very few people know that. Worked for the Hodges Brothers. And I could see right off when I got down there that in Montgomery, Alabama, working at the stockyards, that I was not going to be able to change the South. And I was trying. I had some ideas, wanted to commingle cattle, do a lot of different things. It wasn't going to work. So anyway, I was there about a year, and I left there. The phone rang one evening. It was Ray Winter, John. Ray calls me up, and he said, "You need to come out to Colorado." So I want to see you. So I loaded up. I was in Missouri. I was back in Missouri. And I headed out to Lahana, met with Ray, sold there on Tuesday, and spent the next day with Ray. And he, like a lot of things John, when he was up here telling about, it all came back to me. And I even learned a lot just from what John was talking about, what probably I didn't understand at that time. But Ray was a great philosopher and a great teacher, and it could lead you. He was a man of vision. He was a man of vision. I mean, he could see what was going on, what was happening. Anyway, we'll go on with the story. I know you guys you don't want to be up here all night. I can stand and tell stories the rest of the evening about all these people that I've met in my career that has helped me be able to do what I do today still. But anyway, Ray and I, we visited, we talked, so I come to a conclusion of kind of where we were going. And I wound up going and spending a couple of days with an old friend of mine, Ron Ball, world champion auctioneer up in Brush, Colorado. And I was up there, and the other auctioneer got sick while he was there. Gail Cass was the auctioneer, and he ruptured himself. Anyway, he got sick and he couldn't sell, so I was there on that Friday, and I helped Ron sell. He sent Bob Walker up there and said, Bob, go see if he'll help me with Mark. So of course I did, and I sold. And so then they had a Holstein sale on Monday, and I stayed there and helped with the Holstein sale. Actually, I was needing money. It'd been a while since a payday. So I stayed and I helped tell the Holstein sale. Went back down to visit with Ray and made a decision that I was going to freelance and sell at other sales. So I wound up in Colorado, working in a lot of different markets. Brush in 1974 had the opportunity of great fortune to win the world's champion. From there, I mean, it was all types of cattle business. I fed cattle, I ordered bought, and I sold sales all over the country up there. Got into the purebred, bought me an airplane, put 3,300 hours on a Bonanza V-tail, had a great time. Seen a lot of country, met a lot of people. As I said, I got the opportunity to work with some of the greatest cattlemen and market cattle with some of the greatest cattlemen. I'll take a little cliche from a good friend of mine that's passed on, but he was one of the great cattle industry icons and cattle dealers there ever was, Phil Stagger. Phil and I used to fly around quite a bit together. He wrote a book called I Make a Lot of Tracks. If he hadn't wrote that book, I think I would have. But that's kind of me. I've had the opportunity to make a lot of tracks. I've traveled a lot of roads. There's been a lot of roads and a lot of trails to travel. Some of them were good, some of them were rough. Some of them didn't turn out the way I wanted them to. But a lot of them were downhill and shady all the way. So it's been a great turn, it's been a great move. And I just have some people that I need to thank. And the Lord is, of course, the main one that I give all the thanks to. But my lovely wife, Karen, over here, has been with me now for 30-some years. That doll that Charlie was talking about, she is the one that came up with the idea of the Ralphie doll. And anyway, we did that program. And I, of course, want to thank Charlie for the speech that he gave for me tonight, nomination and all. And the Winter family, as of course meeting Ray back when I did, and knowing the Winter family, and having the opportunity over all those years to see what great marketers they were, to see that even though I wasn't there, I could see the vision and where they were going and where they were moving to, and what they were doing for this great industry that we're in. And to be able to market cattle, the auction method and price discovery that we do with the auction method of marketing our product is just, so gratifying. Also, I want to thank my son for always being there. And always, here came all the way down from Denver, Colorado. He's a banker. Anyway, Perry, she came all the way down, but always believing in me. My daughter that couldn't be here tonight, Stephanie, thank you so much for always believing in me and always being there. And I think probably one of the greatest accomplishments that I have in what I've done is, like Dustin was talking about, and Charlie, Greg, all of them, I've had the opportunity to give back what the Lord gave to me. And being able to to teach and being able to help you. When I first found out that I maybe could help someone, it was like in 1978, when I had a young man come to me in Greeley, Colorado, and wanted to know if I'd help him. And and I did. And at that point, I felt like, hey, I've got something, I don't even know. I did. After that point, I began to study what I was doing. What are you doing that makes, makes this change? Or makes that change and makes it what it is? So I began to study what I was doing and try to figure out, because I couldn't teach unless I knew what I was doing different. And so it's been a great ride for me. There's no question about it. I've enjoyed the industry. I still enjoy the industry. We've got 201,000 cattle selling this next week, Charlie. And I know these people, they're ready for the rest of this evening. I want to thank the Winter family. I want to thank you for everything you've done for our industry, but more so than that, creating this cattleman's, the marketeering and the Hall of Fame. It's so great. I want to see it go on. I want to see it get bigger. And for all you livestock market owners out there, and I was talking to Mark earlier, and how this comes about. And if you can talk to the other markets and get them to work with you and that can promote this, I think it's one of the greatest things, and it can lead us a long ways down the road with, helping, as Dustin talked about, in our industry and what can be done and getting out in front of the people. But I think the more that you can help them promote this through your markets and through what you do in nominating and putting effort forward in bringing these people into this Hall of Fame, how much more we do for our industry. God bless all of you, and God bless America.